Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Folks, we're going to talk about book 4 in the Junior Jedi Knights series, and this one's called Anakin's Quest. It was written by Rebecca Moesta, who basically takes over the series for the last 3 books. Now in this book, Anakin is still dealing with his destiny, right? Is he destined to be like his grandfather, Anakin Skywalker? He wants to avoid that fate, you know. Darth Vader is one of the most notorious villains in the galaxy. So this is something that he's kind of struggled with for a while. I mean, the guy almost got possessed by a recloned emperor once, right? And so he's kind of, you know, this is his first time on his own, but he's still got that worry. What about my destiny? What am I going to be like? I hope I'm not evil. You know, I hope I don't grow up to fall to the dark side. Yeah, I get that. As a kid, I may be scared too. But just because you're named after someone, doesn't matter. He's a little kid, right? So that's how little kids think. Now, he does get permission from Luke to go to the Dagobah with Tahiri and Master Ikrit and R2-D2. And he's going to go experience the cave, because of course the cave can show you the truth, things you may not want to see or hear. And so Luke's like, yeah, maybe that'd be a good trip there. Ikrit says, well, don't worry, I'll go with them, I'll protect them. And so he's like, Luke's like, yeah, I trust a little Jedi bunny rabbit will protect my little nephew. Yeah, sure, go, I don't care. He was my least favorite anyway. So they go to Dagobah, and you know R2-D2 is going to be like, oh man, I remember what happened last time. Not cool. Got swallowed by a giant slug or something and spit out by some sea creature. I don't want to do that again. But, you know, he goes back and goes, hey, it's a party on Dagobah, right? Now, there is a joke in the expanded universe. How many people have visited Dagobah, you know, over the span of years? Of all the planets, why does that one get a lot of visitations to it? I don't know. Most of them with Yoda was there. But that's because people were starving to write Yoda just for a little while. But here there is no Yoda, you know, but Anakin and Tahiri are there. Of course, they're going to come across a ton of creatures that they're going to have to fend off against. Kevin J. Anderson wrote another book called The Illustrated Star Wars Universe, and in it he did a section on Dagobah, and I'm almost positive Rebecca Moesta used a lot of that from Kevin J. Anderson and put that into her book, because of course they're seeing some of this the tree creatures, the tree spiders or whatever that you see on the cover there. Of course they encounter those, they encounter other things too, and of course they get to go to the cave. Now, I should back up a minute because there's 2 other people who are joining them. One is Peckham. That's right, Zach's old roommate, the old fighter pilot, is, you know, shipping, you know, decides to take the Jedi out. So like I said, this couldn't have been before Young Jedi Knights, right? Because they didn't know who Peckham was. Now they know. Now, again, I think you could probably put this safely somewhere inside the Diversity Alliance, the next story arc for Young Jedi Knights, because Peckham's in it. It seems like everything's okay, even though the temple is rebuilt. So it's kind of confusing whether this is before or after. Because yeah, Peckham say, yeah, I'll help out with the Jedi Academy. He was already helping out toward the end of the first Young Jedi Knight series. So now we see him here helping out the Academy and flying some students to Dagobah. You see my conundrum here? So wherever you want to fit this series, I still think it fits somewhere between the end of the first Young Jedi Knights arc or somewhere in the middle of the Diversity Alliance, their second arc. But that's besides the point. There is a stowaway on the spaceship. His name is Older. It's a little kid, of course, Anakin's age, Tahiri's age. And he's stowed away because he wants to be a Jedi. And he wants to go to Luke's Academy and learn how to be a Jedi. And, you know, they don't even know if he has the Force in him, but he is positive. That's what that has been his dream, to be a Jedi. Well, later on, they all go into the cave, you know, one at a time. Anakin enters, sees his destiny, sees everything's going to be all right. He's going to be all right. He chooses his own destiny. It's not decided by fate or whatever. And then you have Tahiri enter in there. She's got some self-doubt too that is resolved in the cave. And then Older goes in. You know what Older sees? Nothing. Just a cave with worms and everything. Now, do you see the picture they're painting? He doesn't have the Force. And that's kind of depressing. And it's a unique little twist here, because you're like, oh my gosh. You thought, well, this little kid's going to be special. He's going to have Force abilities too. You know, where every kid has the Force. No, he doesn't. And he doesn't, I don't know if he realizes it yet. He just thinks this is dumb. I think they were making up stories. And but anyway, I just found it interesting that Rebecca Moesta decided to write this character and say, yeah, he really wants to be a Jedi, but he's not. That's kind of a wild lesson to teach a kid, right? Sometimes you don't always get what you want. And like I said, that's not the overall lesson. They didn't say that. Luke didn't say that at the end, and they all chuckled like some cheap '80s cartoon. But it was indicated that he does not have the Force. You know, very subtly there, because it's a children's novel. But as an adult, you're reading this going, oh. I mean, it's kind of surprising to see kind of a little twist like that. Does this make sense? Like, not everything in a children's book has to be a happy ending. Now, we knew that later on, right, when we got Jude Watson's books. But back then, we hadn't seen something like this before. So I thought that was an interesting touch. But there's more I can talk about this series, and I'm going to do that later in another video. See you later.